Another Gleaner reader, Carlene Robinson, would like to share her concerns about the bureaucracy involved in getting her product locally and overseas. She's asking, I would like to know why it is so difficult for exporters who export lobsters to the United States to do so. The veterinary division is giving the buyers a hard time. Samples are taking over 10 days and still there are no results. Something needs to be done urgently. I also think you need to review the policies that govern exporters. I don't think all those requirements are necessary. The country needs the revenues coming out of the United States, and the fishermen and women are suffering. Please give this matter your urgent attention.
You have to understand the perspective of the Veterinary Services Division. Increasingly, the trade environment, particularly across borders, requires serious sanitary and phytosanitary certification. You cannot send products into another jurisdiction unless it is certified as being clean and does not represent a threat, a health risk or farming risk to the recipient country or recipient market. It's a function of the product. There are some products that require testing, and the results of those tests may require some time. In the case of lobster, I'm not sure what the standard is, but 10 days become a long time if the process starts late. I am sure there's a requirement for a shipment to begin the process within a certain period of time. Normally, some of the exporters want to come today. They would have planned to ship tomorrow and they expect the results immediately, when in fact they should have come a week prior to get the results in time for the shipping. So I can investigate the specific case and see if that time could be shortened, but we cannot forego the issue of testing because it has implications not just for the person who is shipping, but for the reputation of the export trade if those entities or products are found to be wanting, and that's the problem.
The Gleaner on Wednesday told the story of a 13-year-old boy who lost his only 3 goats to thieves. He was hoping to sell the goats this summer to help him to go back to school come September, but his story is not unique. In fact, many other farmers continue to lose their prized animals and farm produce because of the kind of people former Agriculture Minister Roger Clark referred to as the 2-foot puss. Dr. Tufton, just what is happening to fix this $4 billion a year sector, predial larceny?
First of all, predial larceny is like any other crime and should be treated as such, and unfortunately in the past, while we talked about it, we did not give it the attention that it deserves. It's a police matter primarily because it is a breach of the law. We have been trying to provide some leadership on the issue because clearly it affects our primary constituents, our farmers. Over the past year and a half, 2 years, we have established a predial larceny coordinating committee or anti-predial larceny committee. We have been in dialogue with the key stakeholders, including the judiciary and the police force, to deal more effectively with enforcement and in terms of the penalties that are applied, which will discourage the activity. We are engaged in a public education program to solicit the support of stakeholders through the Crime Stop program. We now offer a reward on Crime Stop for information leading to the capture and prosecution of predial thieves. We are reviewing the receipt book system to work on the traceability of our foods, which is not just important from a health and safety issue, but also from a predial larceny issue. All combined represents a new thrust towards the predial larceny or anti-predial larceny program. However, I think all of us will have to change our attitude as a first instance. Farmers have to allow themselves to be a part of a tracking system through registration of farms and the use of the receipt book. The judiciary has to recognize the pain and suffering caused by someone or a deviant who takes someone else's prize goat or cow that is critical to their livelihood and apply the appropriate penalties, and we're reviewing the laws to strengthen that. And of course the police force, in supervising on the road the laws and so on, must also treat with those who are transporting goods, farm goods, in the same way they would treat with a person who does not have their driver's license. So it's an entire reorientation to address the issue, but I think we have started and we're going to continue on that thrust.
Let's go to some more of the feedback questions that came in. This one is coming from Amnon Cameron. He asked, Dr. Tufton, why is Jamaica not doing better in the export market? I live in Calgary, Canada. I keep looking for Jamaican produce here and can't find any, or many. Things like coconut milk, ground produce. I even see banana leaves here for sale. And how is the rice project going, he's asking.
Okay, a number of questions. Why are we not doing more in the export market? For a number of reasons, I think. I think we have to be more consistent in our output. The export market has become, particularly in developed marketplaces, a lot more sophisticated in demanding not just quality standards but also consistency of output. Jamaica is known as a country of samples. While we produce excellent, very tasty items, we normally fall down when we are told to provide a container a week or half a container a week, and the marketplace tends to require that consistency because they depend on their customer loyalty and support. So we have to get the primary stages right, which is why we are expanding rather than doing some of the things that we're doing.
Rice project?
The rice project is ongoing. We just got in some equipment from China. We have a number of farmers who are lined up. We have an extension support team that is in place, a rice unit. We're working with the milling company and the input supplier, Newport Fersan, and our intention is to plant commercial quantities starting in September of this year.
Clinton, he raises the issue of organic foods and the use of green technology. He wants to know if there are any policies, programs, or initiatives in the pipeline which will help to guide and regulate organic farming in Jamaica, that is towards developing food, teas, etc.
The organic sector in Jamaica is relatively disorganized and has not been a major thrust of the government up to this point, even though we have a commitment to supporting and expanding it because it offers a number of advantages. The challenge with organic agriculture is that it requires a process to be certified as organic, and that process could take up to 3-4 years because you have to do a number of things to be globally certified. When I took over the ministry, I felt that while that was important, there were some other low-lying fruit that we could deal with initially to get some results quickly. So in the process, we have asked the policy people in the ministry to develop an organic policy, because the policy must guide everything else that is done. That policy is currently being developed, and the results of that policy will guide where we go from here.
What's the timeline you're working with?
Well, I'm hoping to get a policy position hopefully by the end of this, if not calendar, financial year. And then from the policy will flow all the other activities that are required.
We're talking with the Agriculture Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton. We take our final break. When we return, more questions for the Minister.